I'm sorry for the pain. I'm sorry that I ever let you think that you could stay. I'm sorry I'm the worst.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Up, 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 don't you know, pump it up.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another, what is it, the third episode of The Doc and the Fox. Please give me one quick second while I give Jeremy some volume here. Jeremy, how we doing?
Thank you very much.
Oh my god, that's a lot of volume. Too much volume. Turn down the volume.
All the volume.
So we have some big news today,
We do indeed.
which we will save until the end. But I wanted to start this whole thing off, as I'm still apparently doing something weird. There we go. That's better. I wanted to start this whole thing off by welcoming everybody back, as we have eclipsed the best of four now. We're in the quarterfinals. Best of 8?
Yes.
Best of 4. Best of 4. Quarterfinals.
Best of 4.
Semifinals. How many teams are left?
There's 4 teams left.
Semifinals.
We just finished quarters. We're about to start semis.
And much like many folks, actually, you got them all right.
I did.
So
it was pretty easy, honestly.
So Careful.
a
Congratulations.
lot of people got these right. There's a lot of brackets that are still 100% correct. There weren't a lot of surprises in the quarters. What can I say?
Okay, that's fair. But we are today's stream will be brought to you by what we tell you it's brought to you by here in just a couple minutes. But then again, thank you so much for joining us. This is once again the Doc and the Fox. He is the Doc. I am not a fox, but you know what? We're gonna go with it anyways. I don't.
Enjoying the Gardner Minshew cosplay today?
Thank you. I'm glad you noticed. Did they win this weekend? I don't know.
They lost to Detroit.
Well, you know what?
I believe.
It's okay. You know, as somebody who is a diehard Braves fan, this entire thing hurts. And I know
I just like Gardner Minshew.
I know this is a League of Legends podcast, but as a sports fan, this weekend really hurt. Fnatic lost. The Falcons are 1-5. The Braves blew a 3-1 lead in the National League Championship Series. Georgia Bulldogs lost. I'm just not having it today. But thank you all for joining us again. We're going to talk some
My
league.
teams didn't play, so
That's fair.
I couldn't lose.
That is absolutely fair. So, I want to go ahead, since you were the victorious person of the group here and decided correctly picking the 4 remaining teams in the semifinals. I will throw those up here on the screen, make them a little bit bigger for friends who can see them, so that everybody can sit here and enjoy what is this. So go ahead and tell us right above me what you saw. I know we talked a little bit about this last week. Tell us what you saw in these games, and what you're, I guess, most looking. One, actually, really quickly, what was the hardest one to predict? Which one scared you the most, and what are you most looking forward to going into next week?
I mean, in terms of while I was watching, what scared me the most in terms of prediction was Fnatic going up 2-0 over top. As a fan of Western teams, I was excited. I was like, you know what? If I get this one wrong because of the upset of Fnatic over top, I will take it. But obviously, top came back with the reverse sweep, got the 3 wins there, so that my prediction was right. So it kept it as an interesting series. That was probably the most fun to watch, honestly. I was looking forward to most G2 versus Gen G. I thought that was going to be a lot closer than it was. Ended up being the 3-0 stomp for G2, which, I mean, that just goes to show G2 was as strong as I was expecting. So, I mean, I do have them in the finals, so I'm expecting them to win this week as well. So that was not as exciting of a matchup as I was originally expecting it to be. Suning over JD Gaming, that was kind of an expected one, though they did get 1 game off Suning. Again, kind of props to Team Liquid, showing that Group A was much stronger than most people originally thought. So coming third in that group, good showing to them for sure. With the way Fnatic played, the way Suning is played, I think if Team Liquid was in another group, they may have made it into the quarters.
Yeah, we did plenty of dishing on Western teams last week, with the exception of G2 and Fnatic, but I do agree that Team Liquid would have made, I think, a pretty good showing in the quarterfinals, to say the least. Now, obviously, looking ahead of us here, you've got top beating Suning, and G2 taking on top. Now, I'm going to give you one shot. This is your one chance, Shengu.
Okay.
Are you willing to trade and say Suning over top esports at this moment?
No. This is basically a replay of LPL. It's 1 versus 3. I think that top, they struggled against Fnatic, who's a different style. Fnatic played their own style as opposed to top. Top is going to know what they're doing against Suning. I mean, it's just basically going to be a replay of LPL. I think that it's going to play out the way that we're expecting. I'm expecting a 3-1 for top.
Awesome. Well, and then top against G2, and obviously you have top esports coming out as the world champion. We will, of course.
That one, it might be a toss-up with how G2 played, but I think I was sticking with the favorites there.
It's hard to fault you there. I will say we will come back to this graphic. Maybe we might come back to this graphic. We might have a new graphic next week after the best of 5s from G2 to Damwon and top esports and Suning. I don't even know when those matches are. What am I terrible?
Saturday, Sunday, I believe. They're this weekend.
I'm such a great podcast host, let me tell you. Yeah. So definitely looking
forward.
That's
what I'm here for.
Definitely looking forward to
6 a.m. Eastern on both Saturday and Sunday.
I will not be waking up. You woke me up for the Fnatic game. True story, actually. True story. I was going to sleep through and just watch the VOD of Fnatic versus Top, and I get a message from this guy at like 8 a.m., and I'm sleeping. I'm fast asleep. He's like, oh my gosh, Fnatic.
That's all I said.
I'm like, I don't know if they're 0-2, 2-0, if Bwipo played Zach top and is stomping anybody. I don't know what's going on. Turn it on, see they're up 0-2, and then proceed to have my heart completely ripped out, much like I was when the Braves lost this weekend. So you know what? That started the weekend.
Good news, bad news. I mean,
it is what
I got to watch the first two, and then not as many of the other ones. But
be glad you just watched.
I watched the VODs later, but I watched the first two live, so at least I saw the good ones.
So we had I pulled a couple places earlier today for some questions for the group. This is gonna be the first time we do, I don't know, mail time. I gotta come up with a better name for this. So accepting recommendations for what to call things I asked Jeremy that I don't even know the answer to. First question comes from. First question we already answered from Fury. Fury asked who was going to win and why. I think Jeremy answered that question pretty handily earlier. But the next question was, what makes Suning esports so incredibly good? Jeremy, take a stab at it.
That you know, I'm not sure if I have a good answer to what makes that. I think their style is, I mean, it's unique for sure, but it's not as, it's more, how to phrase this. It's different for Western teams, um, because it's kind of classic LPL. But I feel like within the LPL, I mean, we kind of, I think it was an easy win for Suning over JD Gaming. I feel like they're not going to be having anywhere near as good of a showing against Top. And I think it was just that they came out well in groups, and I think they've kind of shown their hand. So we kind of know what they like to play, and I don't think there's a whole lot new to come from them. I think people have overhyped them more than they deserve.
Yeah, I think when you've got two classic LPL teams who I believe it was stated that they try to play the perfect game, perfect macro, perfect, and you saw what for relative success Fnatic had against Top Esports, albeit for 2 games, but it was
Right.
maybe 2.5, putting a wrench in their plans. And looking down the line, G2 does not want. They don't care. What is a perfect game to G2? They could care less.
Nope. That's why G2 is doing as well as they are, is that they're not trying to play the LPL style. They're not trying to play LCK style. They're playing G2 style. They're taking advantage of what they need to. They're playing around their own win conditions. They're basically making the game their own, which is kind of what you need to do. We've seen in the past when TSM tried to play the Korean style, they tried to, practice more in the Korean style. Yeah, they did fine in NA, but they got shown up at Worlds that year. And, I mean, obviously not 06, but still, it was not a good showing because you can't beat the Koreans at their own game. It's the same kind of idea, is you're not going to be able to beat LPL at their own game. You got to play your game and hope that your game counters theirs or is better.
I think you make really good points. Time for that question to go away. I think we're going to call this section requesting a doctor's note. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Something like that. That could be good.
Yeah, just thinking of something off the top of my head. We'll figure it out and come back to it next week, potentially. Now, moving on to the next question. This was posted by Axel1140. Axel1140. Axel asked, Chengu, why are we so good at Clash?
I think that depends. Are we talking Saturday or Sunday? Because Saturday felt real good. We almost won that. It was just that one really close loss in Game 3. And then we came back and won in Game 4. Sunday we absolutely destroyed Game 1, and we got horribly smurfed on Game 2. I don't think that was any fault of our own, obviously. And then I think we lost Game 3 as well, right? That one was a little more rough. I don't know. We've actually had a decent core, but I feel like we're learning a lot about some of these other GSG players who are coming in and filling in for us. Like, we had Red Dog come in and solid performance over in the jungle. Did very well. I think that actually if he had played jungle, it might have gone better for the GSG team. Who knows? I know they're still working on getting the team together for this year upcoming, and maybe they'll mix some things up in terms of positions. I think that there's definitely some play and some flexibility there, different things people can play. I mean, then we were with Bennett on Sunday's games, and he was in the jungle, off role for him, but obviously knew how to play around his teammates, which was great. We had to call him the Plat to kind of try and boost us a little bit, and it didn't go as planned.
We had a
And
good
I don't
time.
know if that's the answer you're looking for, Alex, but that's the one I'm going to give.
We had a good time to say the least. One more for you before we move on. Earlier this week, ESPN posted an article naming Martin DeFicio Lingi. Probably would have seen him on NA and EU and
LCS.
LCS. Yeah, some LCS streams. Has been named the director of Misfits Gaming in Europe. Jeremy, does this make Misfits Gaming any better?
I mean, it's the director, so it's more of a higher level. So it's kind of like in other sports when you're thinking about a GM. So it's not a direct coach role. It's more of player acquisition, coach acquisition, things of that sort. I think he'll be able to use his long amount of time in the scene and his knowledge of their players and kind of things from that sort to try and help out Misfits. I don't think it can hurt them in any way, honestly. I think it's a good idea. It's not anything necessarily surprising. I know we've seen a couple of casters go on to be coaches, especially this year. Jet taking over for TL, big one there. Did get to see him on the cast for Worlds, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the players, actually helping with draft, where we hadn't seen him for almost a year.
A little bit weird.
But I don't know. I think it makes them a little bit better, but I don't think it's a big change overall. I'm going to put it that way. It's going to help the org, but maybe not the team.
I think we should. I personally think we will see some changes relatively soon with Misfits Gaming, and don't sleep on them in the next couple of years or so. I think next year probably be a little bit of a wash. Get your own people in there, almost like a college head coach coming in takes about 4 years. So we'll see how.
I feel like League is, since we've got two splits. I feel like split one is a lot more. Okay, get your people together, and split two is you kind of expect them to gel a little bit more because spring doesn't mean as much. More of, as Double have said, the vacation split, and then you get into your split two in summer where it actually matters for Worlds, and I think that's when you kind of expect your team to start gelling. So I think give them the spring, and if hopefully they look good in the summer.
And the Epic Champion posts actually the breaking news that I was about to announce here in just a few minutes. So we'll go ahead and hop to that.
This did just come out.
Just came out as of 3 o'clock today. Cloud9 promotes Fudge to the starting lineup, reign over to head coach, and Licorice, MVP, 2 splits back. And I believe even before that, I think he's had 2 MVPs. MVP, at least former MVP of NA, heading to free agency. What are your immediate thoughts on Cloud9? Is this a good move for Cloud9 or not a good move for Cloud9? Because I have my own thoughts, but I don't think they're going to be as heated as yours.
Yeah, so I think we'll start on the not so heated side. Talk about Rainover moving up to head coach. Obviously, very good player, great game knowledge, kind of moving on into a coaching role. I feel like he probably did well within the scene. Obviously, he was more of an assistant, positional coach type of role. So we don't really know how he can do as a head coach. I think they're giving him a shot with that, and it has the potential to be very good for this team, especially knowing that C9 is someone who likes to bring up young talent and kind of foster and teach and move on with that. And I think he'll be able to give a lot of great knowledge to his players under him and help with that. So I think that's a good move. It may not, again, like we were talking about with DeFicio, it may not play out in his first split. It might take a split or two for him to kind of get used to the role. But I think in the long run, and if we're looking at, you can write off spring and hopefully take good effect in summer. I like that move. And in terms of Fudge over Licorice, I honestly don't know a lot about Fudge, if I'm being honest. Licorice, though, I don't understand why you'd want to get rid of him. I mean, like you said, MVP a couple years ago, he was very solid on the team. Definitely starter on, I think, any of the 10 LCS teams. He would definitely be a starter. I think he could basically take his pick of teams here and go where he wants. Maybe a big free agent signing in the offseason here. I feel like, maybe there was an issue with contract. Maybe there was an issue with how much they had to pay him, that they wanted to let him go and bring up talent. Like we were saying, C9 has been known for bringing up young talent and fostering them. So maybe there's something about Fudge that just, we don't know, and giving him this time to shine, he will go up from there and, take over and be better than Licorice. I don't know. But I do scratch my head and kind of I wonder why they're getting rid of him. With as close as they came to doing so well this last year, I don't think Licorice was the problem.
100% agree. Licorice was not the problem. If anything, he and Niski were the two shining stars on that roster, hands down.
Definitely.
Blabber could be hit or miss. Definitely showed up later in the split. However, I'm gonna put a bug in your ear real quick. With this buyout happening and Licorice going to free agency,
yeah,
Golden Guardians might pick him up.
I can see it.
And that would Golden Guardians, and then I'm saying this now, I think it puts Golden Guardians as a top 3 team. Just gonna put that out there.
Maybe top 4.
I'm gonna put the feelers out there.
Yeah.
We're gonna roll with it. Real quick answer from you, Shangu. If you're a TSM fan, Epic Champion asked the second question. If you're a TSM fan, would you rather start Treats or have somebody average-ish, like Snowflower from Supermassive? Go.
I guess I'm not really sure what you're asking. I mean, we had Biofrost because of the meta. I don't not agree with that. I mean, maybe we saw how Treats have played in playoffs for Team Solomed, and obviously they had to make a change after that loss early on. I think then you just stuck with Biofrost because of the synergy that you built with the team. I think especially if you're with Double Lift, you can put in someone there who's average-ish as long as... Oh, yeah, the rumors are definitely that Bio's gone. I agree. I think Treats is gone, too, I believe. They did say that he's allowed to look for other teams. So they're going to be looking for a completely new support. It's not going to be Treats or Biofrost. I can see a Korean support. They've tried something like that before where they brought over Mithy, thinking that, he'd be a great shot caller, be able to do all this for the team. I don't think that's the way to go. I think you got to look for someone who's going to have good synergy with your ADC. So look for someone who has good synergy with Double Lift. Granted, his style has changed a little bit in the last year or so, especially this last split. So maybe someone who's better, less aggressive, more of controlling the lane, something like that is a Korean support would work out. Obviously, there's always the language barrier that you have to worry about. So, you want someone who's going to be able to be fluent in English and able to communicate, especially if you want them to be in more of a shot calling role. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the support role this year. But I don't think it's going to be Treats or Biofrost. I think they might look at taking either someone from, NA Academy. There's, like you said, the rumor that it'll be a Korean support. I think I'd rather see someone promoted from NA Academy, especially for the spring, and given a shot. And then you could always go back to someone who's more well-known. Or maybe there'll be a role swap. We've seen that work with Huhi, able to role swap over to support and did quite well. So who knows?
I'll put a second bug in your ear really quickly. So if you're looking for a Korean support, know that there is a specific number of foreign players that you can have on a North American team, limited, I believe, at 2.
2.
Broken Blade is one of them.
Only one.
If you bring... Broken Blade is one. I thought Bjergsen for a while was.
No, Bjergsen's NA residency.
Great.
He's been NA residency for years.
I was going to say...
He's grandfathered in.
I was going to say...
He's technically an NA resident player.
Guess who gets to come over from Cloud9? Licorice. Not going to happen, but you can...
Honestly, like I said, I think Licorice can start on any of the top 10 LCS teams. I honestly, if Licorice, there was a deal worked out where Licorice came to TSM, I would be 100% okay with that. I mean, Broken Blade, yeah, love the guy, but in terms of trying to build a better team, if you got a chance to pick up Licorice and work around him, I mean, they played a lot through Broken Blade. Granted, that was some of the meta as well. But if someone who's able to play weak side a little bit better, maybe, than Broken Blade, I would be okay with picking up Licorice, 100%.
We will see where. Just go ahead and dub today Licorice Watch, and we will figure out where it is. And whenever Licorice gets picked up by a team, I will eat a bag of Twizzlers on cam. I don't know.
I was gonna say the question is it red or black licorice?
Oh, it's got to be red. Red Twizzlers. The way to go. There is no other answer.
Hard to agree.
Write it. So, a lot of questions, a lot of big news here coming out of North American LCS. But I want to switch gears for some good news. We get to celebrate.
Yes, we
We
do.
get to celebrate something today. Today actually marks the first day that our stream has officially been picked up by Goon Squad Gaming. So we will, of course, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Good. So, from this point on, we will, of course, be sponsored by Goon Squad Gaming. Thank you so much, Decker, and all of those guys over at GSG. We really, really appreciate it.
Especially with all the bashing we did on TSM
I know,
last
I'm
week.
shocked. I'm so shocked. So we're looking forward for some great stuff there. Also, keep in mind, we got a lot of cool things coming out as well. Hopefully a blog, a website, and a few other things. But things that we're looking for next week and the weeks moving forward. This will continue into December. What we're looking for. We are going to break down some Worlds plays next week. Hopefully,
Yep.
We'll hopefully break
I
down
think that-
some stuff. We are going to do a top 10 plays submitted to us in the next 2 weeks. So be on lookout for that. Clip your stuff, and we will rank them and probably flame you. And
Those are solo queue plays, by the way,
Solo
not
queue
like
plays.
clips of world plays. Yeah, we
Yes.
want your solo queue plays.
Yes, I want to see you all doing good things, or I want you all to clip everybody else doing bad things, and I want to laugh at it. There it is.
Funny things are accepted.
Yeah, and if you can find a clip of me doing something absolutely ridiculous, trust me, they are out there. Please submit those too, because
A couple of them are probably already on my YouTube.
Oh God, you're an idiot. Am I though? No. Okay.
Not if you kill them.
So we are really excited to be joined officially by the organization. So with that being said, that I believe is going to do it for us today here on Doc and the Fox. Shoot, I don't know. The third episode.
Yeah, I think that's all we had. Go through all the worlds, our news, took some questions.
Some good news.
Oh yeah.
So be on the lookout. Again, go ahead and follow us on twitch.tv. We'll be here every Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for all you Central and Pacific freaks out there. Just
There
kidding.
might be a different we might have to bump back the time next Monday. I am on call in the hospital until 7, so I probably won't be home till closer to 8. So we will figure it out.
We will figure it out. Again, find us on twitch.tv, just Patty Mount. Also streaming live on Goon Squad Gaming Live, twitch.tv. Catch us there as well as all of the other Goon Squad Gaming action that we have on League of Legends, Among Us, TFT,
Other games.
you name it. You name it, we've got it. And
Or can add it.
True. We can also add it. And last but not least, on Twitter at twitter.com/Shangu22 and youtube.com/Shangu22 as well. So once again, we will be uploading this VOD here shortly. Catch it, share it, do whatever you need to do, and we will see you next week on Doc and the Fox. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you here next Wednesday, maybe 8 or next Monday, maybe 8 o'clock. Who the hell knows?
Say 8 o'clock.
But we'll see you then.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know?